Hello everyone, welcome to my Gameweek 27 preview for ChampmanFPL. Hope you're enjoying the bank holiday. We've already had the stream from Luke and Andy. We've already had the leak, so we've got a little bit of extra stuff around that this week for Man United specifically. But yeah, if you haven't seen that, the leak's been released early, and the stream from Luke and Andy is already available on YouTube. So do check both of those things out before you lock in your teams for this week. So quick look at game week 26 then. So we've still got the same leader. Leeds been cut a little bit. Some decent scores in the top of the leaderboard. Looks a bit different to game week 25. Some much bigger scores at the top, I think. 101 team of the week. Good effort. 90s, 80s, 60s. What did the team of the week do? 101. Poyet. What a player. I don't think many people have got him, but he is capable of those hauls. Hughes in there. I do wonder if this is a team. I mean, it might not be. Nath, if you're listening, apologies if I'm accusing you of having a dead team when it's actually just brilliant play. But you've got Gerrard on the bench there. Look at the bench has all got 0 points. Makes you wonder. But anyway, 101 points. Team of the week this week. So on to in week 27 then. First up, Bolton Man City. So Bolton will attack at home. City play their sort of mildly defensive tactic away against the lower rep opposition. Defensive, but it's not too bad. But Bolton are more aggressive. They are scoring some more goals. 7 clean sheets out of 20, not bad. Crazy game up here, 5-3, a bit of an anomaly. So 8 goals in that game, and then all the other games, you've had 3 goals maximum. So yeah, just one of those weird things that can happen in Champman. But yeah, you're looking at probably 3 goals in this game as a ceiling, unless you get a bit of an oddity. A pretty tight game, which Bolton are just edging. And player returns, to be expected. Wallace, Pedersen, main men for Bolton. Wallace made his debut for my team this week, tucked away a penalty. Good stuff. Some more of that, please. Pedersen as well returned last week, didn't he? And then you've got Svensson. Did pretty well from the wing against Bolton's wing-back system. So yeah, Man City's wingers could do all right considering Bolton's setup. Middlesbrough Leeds. So Borough will attack at home. Leeds play normal away. And this one came out pretty tight as well. So Borough more aggressive, but Leeds have got the better team, haven't they? And so they've kind of nullified Borough a bit, but then they're not all out attack themselves. So it's made for a fairly tight game. 7 clean sheets each. Leeds have just got that higher ceiling. As I say, they've just got better players, haven't they? Larsson and Viduka are capable of having one of those great games. But yeah, fairly tight. And in the leak, we found out that Jonathan Greening is playing up front for Borough, isn't he? So I wouldn't expect that to be like full rep like they did last week, because obviously Leeds are a much higher reputation team than Middlesbrough. But Boxic is injured, isn't he? So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one, Greening playing up front, but it could be that he's just in for Boxic. I'd be surprised if there's like mass rotation again for Middlesbrough against a high rep team like Leeds. And player returns, so Viduka, Keane and Larsson. So yeah, Leeds front 3 really. I've got half a chance. Charlton derby. So Charlton will attack at home. Derby play normal away. And Charlton coming on top, higher ceiling. So again, they've got the more aggressive tactic. The home team fancy Charlton to probably win this one, or they're favourites to win it. They've got a decent ceiling. So 4 times, 3+ goals, only 1 for Derby. So Derby were kind of all or nothing, a bit like Sunderland last week, wasn't it? All or nothing. They're either going to blank, or because Charlton is so bad, they could get themselves on top and score a couple. Bit of a 50-50 for Derby. Charlton much more consistent, only blanked 3 times. Player returns, so Yul Hughes, Kinsella, wingers against Derby. Kinsella, Wilcox, whoever plays out there, or Dintzer. I think we told in the league actually that Dintzer's playing, aren't we? So it could be a good game for him, but not that you'd probably rush out to buy him. If you're free hitting this week, maybe Dintzer could be a bit of a cheap enabler for you, perhaps. So it's Charlton Derby. Basement battle. Chelsea Sunderland. Chelsea will attack at home. Sunderland will play normal, I think. I think Chelsea are quite a high enough rep for them to go defensive. But perhaps they could, but I think probably normal. And Chelsea coming out well on top, so yeah, this looks a good game for Chelsea. Don't see many of these games for Chelsea really, but yeah, 10 times they've hit 3+ goals, 10 clean sheets as well. So we know from the league that Leon Knight is starting. So yeah, perhaps there could be a bit of rotation, but I don't think it necessarily means mass rotation, like a proper third string crazy rep that you sometimes get. Leon Knight is often on the bench for Chelsea. He has made some appearances this season. We know Zola's sort of on his way out a little bit. So yeah, it could be that Knight is just getting a game. I had a quick look through my sim files to look for instances of him playing, and it's not uncommon that he can just play with the first team now and again. Or it could be a couple of players could miss out. It could be a minor rotation. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like Leon Knight playing, Gallas playing, maybe Holden gets a game, something like that, just 2 or 3. I don't expect it to be the whole team. It could be, but I just don't think that Leon Knight means that it will be, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's always a chance, but I'm not going to panic about it. I mean, I hold Melchior and Terry, so I'm sort of braced for one of them to miss out. I'd be a bit disappointed if both of them did. Looking at what I saw in my sims, but it could happen. But I don't think it's as much of a red flag as John O'Shea starting for Man United, for example. And returns then, so it's 4-4-2 versus 4-4-2, but Chelsea's wingers did well. I suppose they are their 2 best players really attacking, I guess. You've got Carboni on set pieces. Gronkiar, when he played, did well. Gudjonsson, Petit's injured, so he definitely won't be playing. Lampard, Babiaro, yeah, it's all Chelsea really. Cue the Kevin Phillips hat trick. Everton Villa. Everton will attack at home. Villa will play normal. So again, not too many defensive teams this week. That's good. And Everton coming out, well, I say on top. I mean, the average goals is pretty equal, but Everton have hit 3 or more 5 times compared to 2. So yeah, this is one of those games where I prefer to look at the ceiling rather than the average. If you just looked at the average, you say, "Oh, it's a pretty even game," but actually, I much prefer Everton personally. I think they're more likely to get a haul for you. Clean sheets can't really split them, but yeah, Villa scoring once or twice quite a lot, whereas Everton have hit 3 times. So yeah, just about prefer Everton for this one. And returns then, so Dion Dublin was pretty consistent. So I've boosted Dublin's reps, so he's starting for me over Balaban basically always now. So Dublin was fairly consistent, returned 9 times out of 20, 14 times in total. Joe Max Moore, this was a bit of a strange one. He kept there were a couple of games you can see he's only returned in 5 separate games. So one of them was a hat trick off the bench, and one of them was a brace off the bench, I think. And then just a bit of a strange one. But I just take it as he's up front. So it was a bit of trolling from Max Moore. If you're a Campbell or a Keratos holder in my Sims, but I would take it as it's a good game for Everton forwards. That's Everton Villa. Ipswich Millwall. Ipswich will attack at home. Millwall play normal away against this kind of opposition. And as you'd expect, Ipswich coming out on top. Decent ceiling. They've only blanked once. 9 clean sheets. Not really going to get any higher than that for a team like Ipswich. Millwall themselves, they've not been doing it in our sim, but Millwall always look like against the sort of mid-table teams. They kind of always in the sims they kind of always look like they might have a chance of scoring a goal, although they've not been doing it for real. But you've been getting this 50% all the time, haven't we? Rather than this 50%, but you never know. But yeah, it's a good. You've got to. I mean, if you've got Doherty, it's a game that he's got to start, I think. And fingers crossed, maybe he can play up front as well. So top returns. So yeah, I've spoken before. Ipswich forwards. They've got, if you include Doherty, they've got basically 5 viable strikers in their squad. So you never really see anyone hauling because it just varies who gets the nod all the time. So the returns get shared. Alex Anderson, yeah, he's pretty consistent. Pretty consistent in sims. Value 4.5 mid. I think people know by now. Man United Blackburn. So what should we do? What should we do first? Let's do what we normally do first. So Man United will play attacking. Whatever team they put out, Man United will play attacking, and whatever team Man United put out, Blackburn will still play this silly ultra defensive tactic that they play away to the big teams, where they've got 7 men behind the ball basically. So even if Man United do a crazy rep where it's like the 3rd string, Blackburn will still play this defensive tactic. They won't look at United's lineup and think, "Oh, we might as well go for it." That's just not how it works. So in my sims, then United well out on top. So Blackburn just don't really give themselves a chance. You've got the bit of CM madness here. You often just get one like this, but it's really unlikely with the way Blackburn's set up that they're going to score 3 times. So a comfortable game for Man United. And the returners looked like this. So RBN out on top. Goals from midfield, goals from the second striker. As you'd expect. But who's going to play? So we know that John O'Shea starts for Man United. So I've been through my sim files, my 20 files that I use to make these videos each week. And basically, I just picked out the first 15 occurrences I could find where John O'Shea starts. So there's no like, I haven't been selective at all. I included some and not others. It's literally just the first 15 games that I found where he got a start, and this is what it looks like. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. So we've got an example here where he's played in a partial rep game. So O'Shea and Stewart have got a game. Otherwise, it's the first team. And you can see Veron was available because he's on the bench. So Stewart has just been thrown in for Veron as a sort of partial rep. And O'Shea's been thrown in for, I guess Rocky Junior. I guess so. We know Rocky Junior is injured as well, don't we? That's the other thing to think about. We know Rocky Junior is injured, so that would push O'Shea sort of slightly further up the list anyway. We've got another one here where he's played in a much heavier rep. This is full rep, basically, isn't it? Because Beckham isn't first choice. Weber Williams, basically everyone's missed out. You've even got, Muniaruk, or however you pronounce his name. He's a forward, really, and they've just shoved him on the wing because they obviously were determined that this is a full rep game. So there he is up front there. And they've played Georgia, so it's sort of slightly more of a partial rep because you've still got Wes Brown. They've obviously gone and re-signed Laurent Blanc and put him in. You got Scholes in there, Fletcher in there. This is more second string than third string. Jordic is in there. Another one here where it's partial rep, so York and Cole again. So it's slight. This is getting more towards the first team again. York, Cole, Phil Neville's in there, Nicky Butt's in there, Scholes, Wes Brown, Barthez is in goal. So you can see it really does vary. With this isn't set in stone what's going to happen. Another one here, full rep, really, apart from Andy Cole and Scholes. One here where he's played basically with the first team. You got Tierney, so it's just O'Shea and Tierney, isn't it, for this one? Partial rep, very light rep. One here, second string rep. Cole and Keane are the only two that have made it, really. Barthez, sorry. We've got a partial rep here, so Giggs has still made it, Gary Neville's still made it, York's still made it. One here he's played with the first team, apart from the goalkeeper. So again, very light, and Phil Neville probably. So very light rep. So yeah, another example where it's only 2 or 3 players. Veron's playing, Van Nistelrooy's playing, Chadwick's playing, Keane's playing. Partial rep here, so there's no Veron, but there is Van Nistelrooy. Yeah, the rest of it's pretty reppy. So yeah, Van Nistelrooy's made the rep game, basically, is what's happened here, isn't it? It is basically a full rep, but Van Nistelrooy's playing. Anything can happen. It's a summary, isn't it? So glad to help. really cements your thinking. Here he's played with the first team: Van Nistelrooy, York, Veron, Giggs, Sylvestre. There's one here where Veron's playing, but Van Nistelrooy isn't. Other than that, it's basically the first team. Scholes is in for Keane, very light rep. Partial rep there. O'Shea and Wall work centre backs with the first team almost. With the first team again there, pretty much. Another partial rep there. So you get the idea. O'Shea starting doesn't necessarily mean that United are gonna do something silly, although they definitely could. So I counted it there out of 15 sims. So there were 6 games where he's played with a kind of partially repped team. There are 6 games where they've gone fully rep, and then there are 3 games where he's played with the first team for whatever reason. So you've probably got around about what would that make it? Yeah, around about what, a 40, 35, 40% chance that it's full rep game, and probably just over a 50% chance that Van Nistelrooy or Veron could play. So yeah, I don't know if that helps you. I'm not sure if it helps me really. I'm trebled up on Man United. I've got Van Nistelrooy, Veron, and Chadwick. So I think for me the play is probably just go Van Nistelrooy to Henry and hope that maybe Van Nistelrooy misses out and Veron plays and Chadwick plays. Yeah, so you can pause and go through those teams as many times as you like. I suppose we'll move on. Newcastle, Leicester. Newcastle will attack, and Leicester will attack or play normal. Leicester aren't set in stone away against the lower rep teams. They're a bit of a mixed bag. But it looks a good home game for Newcastle. I think many people are expecting this. Got Shearer in, looking forward to Shearer playing this game, and yeah, on board with that. They've got a high ceiling. Shearer's very good at home, isn't he? And Leicester aren't brilliant. So it looks like a pretty good home game for Newcastle. You've just always got that chance with the long ball that it just doesn't work on the day. Always get those handful of nils, don't you, with Newcastle at home? Reconnecting connected. I hope that doesn't mean I've dropped out for ages. We'll see how it goes. Sorry guys, I'm just going to pause until that stops doing that, because otherwise I'm not sure if this is actually recording or not. As it stops spazzing out. Okay, hopefully I didn't drop out for like 10 minutes. So player returns, so Shearer. So that might look quite underwhelming, but this is a potential rep game for Newcastle, and he did miss out quite a lot. So that doesn't really mean anything for our sim, because our sim is just one individual sim. It's the same chance as it always is, but it just so happened in mine that it turned out to be a rep game fairly often. So as I say, that looks fairly underwhelming, but it was in a relatively limited amount of appearances. He was doing well when he played. I wouldn't worry about it. Spurs, Liverpool then. So I think this would be attack versus attack. But it is 4-4-2 against 4-4-2, which always makes it a little bit tighter than it might otherwise be when you've got 2 different formations that are attack versus attack. But Spurs edging it at home. Probably wouldn't have seen this under Hoddle, but 8 clean sheets out of 20 at home to Liverpool. Not really much of a ceiling for either team. It's an outside chance of them hitting more than 2. Fairly tight games. Probably to be expected. And it results in low numbers for player returns. So we know Owen's out for 3 months now. Just as I bought him in last week, he's now out for 3 months. So I think that probably makes Fowler just about nailed, because he was tending to play anyway with Owen. So with Owen out, I think that makes Fowler pretty much nailed to play with Heskey or Litmanen while Owen's out. I think, unless they rep. So yeah, that might be interesting potentially for a bit of a differential. Robbie Fowler for a while, maybe. And finally, Watford Arsenal. So Watford will attack at home, and Arsenal will attack away. But this is a bit more one-sided in terms of the quality of the players, isn't it? So Arsenal coming out way on top. So very similar to last week, really. Massive ceiling, and they're doing it a lot. Only blanked once. Not really keeping many clean sheets. But yeah, on it. They're on it again, aren't they, in this game? So it's good news for Henry again. Not quite as many as last week, but it's just as good, really, I think. And he's 100% fit now, so there's not the worry about that. Bergkamp did really well, so yeah, whether it's Bergkamp or Jeffers, whoever gets the nod to partner him, just happened to be Bergkamp more in my sims, but whoever we get on the day has got a really good chance in this game. And then you can see just goals coming from all over the midfield. Whoever gets the nod has got a really good chance of doing well in this game. And from Watford, from an attacking perspective, they've done okay, haven't they? I don't think this is awful for Petkov holders. He's due something, isn't he? And Watford do look reasonably good to score a goal. So maybe you could get something this week. So top returns for the week then, just quick recap on that. So Van Nistelrooy out in front if he plays. Henry, Giggs, Bergkamp, John Dublin, Zenden, Perez and Veron. So yeah, let's see what teams we get. Quick look at attack, look ahead. So I don't think this has really changed, really, bringing in game week 30. I think it's still basically the same. Arsenal have still got a tasty run. Middlesbrough's is pretty good. Chelsea's is pretty good. So Millwall away is now on the horizon for Chelsea. Derby's run is not bad. That Arsenal away game is a bit of a stinker, but the other three are reasonably good. Liverpool, yeah, that Chelsea away isn't great, but the other three aren't bad. And Man United reasonably good. You could argue Ipswich as well, couldn't you? They still got 3 home games in a row before that Liverpool game. Yeah, so I'd probably include Ipswich in this as well, actually. And the defence look ahead. So yeah, Arsenal, Bolton. Bolton have got City at home this week, so City will play defensive. They've also got Millwall at home in the next 3 games, so that's not bad. Chelsea good both ends of the pitch. Ipswich say those 3 home games. Liverpool both ends, Man United both ends. I don't think anybody else is really standing out as having any kind of run where you could target clean sheets at the moment. So that's it then, isn't it? Yeah, good luck with the game week. Good luck with the rep. Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, yeah, I'll be happy if I get 11 out. I think with the Man United news and the Chelsea news, I'm expecting to lose at least a player from Man United and a player from Chelsea, but it could easily end up being 5. So let's see what happens. Could be an interesting week if people are down to 8-9 men. But there we go. That's the way it goes. Good luck with it. See you next time, everybody. Cheers.